And I think at the end of the day, you have to be happy in what you're doing.
Yeah. And then it makes filming things like podcasts a lot easier because you're just talking to somebody that you get on with.
Yeah, exactly. Here we go.
We all work for the same company, or we all work within marketing with different functions. But we've all had different routes to getting here. And I think it's fascinating that, you know, what people wanted to do when they were teenagers compared to what they do now. Sometimes people have a very clear idea of what they want to do, but then other times people think they do, and then they end up taking a completely different course.
When I was 13, I wanted to be a vet.
Right?
Yeah.
That doesn't necessarily surprise me, I'm not going to lie. You are an animal lover.
Absolutely. I love animals. I would have a whole farm at home if the house and garden was big enough.
And if your husband let you.
Yeah, exactly. There's that as well.
So did you then focus your studies around to get you towards being a vet?
No, so I actually did. So for my work experience, the school work experience you have to do, I actually went to a stables.
Oh, right.
So I got to, I actually got to horse ride, which is the first time I'd done that. So that was a brilliant experience. And muck out the horses and spend a whole week at the stables,
Nice.
which I absolutely loved. But they enjoyed that. But then realising after I did my GCSEs, it was kind of more focusing on what I wanted to do for A-levels. And although I did all right in my sciences, I didn't feel that. I know that the jump from GCSE science to A-level science was big. So
a lot of people have been saying about the difference between GCSEs and A-levels is crazy.
Oh God, it really is. So I felt that I was better doing subjects that I was stronger in, and I really enjoyed French.
Oh, right, okay.
So I actually ended up doing A-level French along with English and history, and taking that route with the French into university.
Because you spent quite a bit of time in France, didn't you?
I did. So as part of my university course, I did 6 months in Nice, studying at the a university there. Well, it was an École de Commerce, which was brilliant. So we were there in lectures and seminars with all the French students. So that was an eye-opener, going into a French lecture for the first time and not having a dictionary next to me straight off. And then I spent a year working in Paris as well, which I absolutely loved. I just fell in love with Paris. So then that led me down that route of doing actually a French-speaking account management to begin with.
Oh, right. So I was thinking then that, would that then take you into translating or interpreting or something? But you actually took your language down a business route.
Yeah, absolutely.
So where did the account management come into that then? What made you go into account management?
I think I've always liked working with people and like a customer service kind of role, and trying to help people and understand different businesses. Whereas interpreting, I kind of felt that you have to specialise in specific areas, and I was very keen to get into work placements and learn about different industries as well, which I felt very passionate about.
Because what people might not know is Laura and I have actually crossed paths before.
We have.
Whilst you were a French-speaking account manager.
Yeah, exactly. Many years ago.
For a print company.
Yeah.
So was that, because to be fair, this was never really, it wasn't a conversation we had while we were working together. Was that your first job in account management?
Yes, it would. Yeah, it was actually. So I finished university and I got a job straight away. It's in finance, kind of admin processing straight away. But that would have been my first official career job, as you say, from university, and straight off using my languages.
So has your career then followed a very similar path since Benrose Booth?
Yeah, so from Benrose Booth, I went to a company called CompuType. I was also made redundant, unfortunately, but I was very lucky in securing a job at CompuType fairly quickly afterwards. And that was once again French speaking, account management, that led to further career progression actually. So I then became, from account management, I then became a team leader, but I still had all my French customers as well, which was nice. And yeah, just developed a bit more. And it was very similar industries as well, in the print industry. But I felt like it was also giving me like a little bit of a taste of like the design side of things as well, with like the design proofs that you had to sign off and the feedback from clients, which was really interesting.
And then did you come from there to Eyeweb? Is that right?
No, so I went to another company, which was a development company actually.
Right.
Developing budget planning softwares and payroll softwares. I wasn't actually working as a developer myself, but I was once again doing a very similar role. It was account management, project management there, and that gave me the taste for like, you know, development side. So I feel like I had experience working with developers and, you know, project management and account management, where you're always liaising with clients directly, which I like that relationship. But also prior to that, like a little bits of ins with like the design proofs with clients. So yeah, so working here is a dream, really.
Yeah, natural progression from there. I think it's I think it's really interesting. I mean, obviously you did take the university route to do French, and you know, been talking about how some people choose to go to university, some people don't. Some people go to university and find it's not for them. And I think it's really important that particularly nowadays, I think it's really important that people understand about choosing the path that's right for them, rather than what either schools, academia, or even society say that we should be doing.
Absolutely.
You know, because I think there is very much a societal element to here, that there's certain things that is expected of you in life progression.
Absolutely. I was the same. I thought, you know, before I even finished my GCSEs, I was already kind of thinking, and I knew that I wanted to go to university, but I had the expectation, even from my parents, that I would go to university, I would get a good degree, I would come out of university, get a good job, you work up the career ladder, you know, you do all of those things, you get a nice house, you know, all of those things that society, I suppose, to an extent sometimes expects. But I think at the end of the day, you choose a path that's right for you.
And something that makes you happy.
Yeah, that is where I am at now. I think after all these years, you know, of working on all the experience I've had, I think the most important thing for me now is happiness. Just, you know, and I feel settled. I'm happy in the job I'm working in, and I think that's ultimately the most important thing.
You spend such a large percentage of your waking life at work.
You do.
I think it's really important to. I'm not going to go. I hate that saying. Find a job you love and you'll never work a day in your life. I hate it, because it's like this thing that, you know, your job should be a dream, and that's not a realistic expectation either. But at the same time, you do need to find, you know, we do, as I say, we do spend so much of our waking life at work, that it's important that you do enjoy what that is. Coming out of the back of the job that we worked together at Bemrose Booth, and that was the first time that I'd ever faced redundancy.
Same.
Now for me, that is job security is such an important thing. Job security and feeling comfortable in the environment that I'm in is way up my list of needs and wants in a job.
Yeah, and I think here, you know, we all support each other. We have that support network here. We get on well together, and I think that is for me very important as well. Rather than having like a title as such, you know, it's more about the job you do, rather than what's on my email signature. It's the job I do, being proud of the job I do and doing the job well, and working well within the team, supporting one another, working well with clients. That's all, so important, I think. And there's a lot of pressure on people day in, day out. And I think at the end of the day, you have to be happy in what you're doing.
Yeah. And then it makes filming things like podcasts a lot easier because you're just talking to somebody that you get on with.
Yeah, exactly. We go. Exactly.
So, I'm hoping you can remember being 13.
It's kind of. It's a weird age. But yeah.
Oh gosh, yes, it is a very weird age. So what did you feel like you want? Where did you see your career vocation going when you were 13? Was there something that you particularly wanted to do when you were 13, or were you just a 13-year-old who
Mostly that, but other than that, I loved art and I loved animals. So I think I'm very similar to Laura in the fact that I wanted to be a vet or I wanted to be like an artist of some kind. But yeah, nothing. I feel like you are either you know what you're doing or you don't know what you're doing at that age. I definitely didn't know what I was doing.
I mean, to be fair, I can say that I was in my 30s and I didn't know what I was doing.
Well, yeah, I don't know if I fully know what I'm doing for the rest of my life right now.
And I think that's a really important takeaway anyway. That I think as we've discussed through various conversations today, that there is this pressure to know what you want to do. And I mean, I don't know whether it was always the case that adults, inverted commas, didn't know what they wanted to do or whether they were doing the right thing, or whether it was just a generational thing that people weren't as open as they are now. Because I think it's quite important to say, look, it's okay if you don't know what you want to do. Just get yourself those experiences. I mean, like when we were talking to Georgia earlier about, she didn't have a plan to go into marketing, but actually found these experiences that opened that corridor. So I think it's important that people understand that you might be doing something you love and you're still not entirely sure whether that's it.
Yeah. That is interesting though, whether it's sort of like whether people, because to me, older people feel like it's
like
been
me.
Such no people who seem to know what they're doing, who are usually later on in life, so they've had a few careers, they've had a few experiences, and seem like they know what they're doing more. It seems like it's been a linear process. Looking from me as like a 24-year-old, it seems like people have gone in a linear process, but is it really that people are less open to saying that they don't know what they're doing or don't fully know what they're doing? I
think there is a thing as well. It was interesting what you were saying there about people. It seems like people know what they're doing. There's that whole adage of a swan, isn't there? That you're gliding on the surface, but actually underneath you're paddling like crazy. And I love that analogy. Anyway, because I think it is something that's important for us to remember, that actually sometimes people look like they've got it together, but actually we don't necessarily know what struggles that person's going through, which is a whole other topic. But it is relevant to this, that actually when you're thinking about your progression, you do look at the people who are older than you as a bit of inspiration, and think, oh well, they must have had this linear approach to where they are now, and they're really, really succeeding, and look at them, they really know what they're doing, when actually that person might be going, what am I doing? What am I doing? So you went to what did you do for your GCSEs then? Was it very art focused?
For my GCSEs, yes. I mean, I focused it as much as I could, but there weren't many, compared to A-levels, there weren't many options. It's just you do English, you do maths, we had to do religious studies because it was a Church of England school. But yeah, other than that, I did art, I did geography as well. But art was really, it's one of the only things you could pick to sort of be an artist.
through A levels, and what did you do at uni?
Uni, I did games design.
Oh, you did, didn't you?
I did.
Cool.
It was cool. Yeah, I enjoyed it. Yeah.
So you did games design. So how have you got from games design to where you are now?
Well, I started off doing art and design at college, even before that. And in art and design, there was like a few things you could pick. So it ran alongside the foundation course for art and design. And you could do textiles, stuff like that, or you could do product designy, things like that. And I chose visual communication. So it's more graphic designy, because there was fine art as well. But I did sort of like, more graphic designy art. And so stuff like screen printing and that. And I found that really interesting.
I love screen printing.
Yeah, it is good. But then I saw how digital things were becoming, especially in the world of art. I was on Instagram all the time seeing people, like digital artists, making these amazing things. And I was like, I want to learn more about that. And I think my choice of uni course was a lot more of like I want to learn this rather than I already know a lot about this and I want to streamline my career. So I wanted to learn about games art, games design, concept art, 3D modeling, stuff like that. So that's what pushed me to choose games design.
So again, kind of what we were talking about with other people within the team about choosing subjects that not necessarily with an end goal in mind, but actually learning about something that you had a passionate interest in.
Yeah.
Which I think can be just as valid, even if you don't end up using those skills. You sometimes end up learning skills that you don't realise that you're going to use in a different application later on.
Definitely.
Because there are lots of crossovers in different fields that you wouldn't realise are going to have an application later on.
Yeah. Well, I found just computer literacy has been so useful. Like up until now, like completely just knowing what to click when you're on a computer helps so much. And I think visual communication, games design, just being comfortable in front of a computer, you get things done so much more quickly.
So what then happened after university?
What happened?
What happened?
So games design, when I was doing game design, when I finished it especially, it's very competitive. You have to be into it to progress in that career field. And I was just like, I don't think I'm into it enough to want to focus on it and to put my degree like specifically into a games design career. So after that, basically I'm in Hull because my boyfriend went to Hull for his degree in his uni. He started doing masters and PhD. So I was like, okay, I don't have any roots down anywhere really right now. I'll go over there. We'll see what living together is like. We're still doing that, so it's going well. But yeah, that's how I ended up in Hull. So I started looking for jobs in Hull. And something came up for an arts charity that was social media, website updating, stuff like that. And I was like, I am really interested in social media. And around the same time, I was doing a few little posters and graphic design things for a climbing gym I like to go to in Hull as well. So it just sounded really interesting. And it's a charity, so there weren't too many people. There wasn't like someone just doing copywriting and someone just doing like the creating posters and stuff like that. So I was doing it all. And I really enjoyed it once I got there. And it felt like I was doing things I enjoyed rather than doing marketing, even though it was at the same time. So it's like you said, it's gathering skills through just doing stuff you really enjoy. And then at the grand old age of 24, I was made redundant from that job. Charities. So yeah, that's how I ended up here. More so because I wanted to sort of streamline doing marketing and building skills around that.
Well, it's interesting though that you say streamlining that, because it is, but it's also because you've gone from in-house marketing to agency marketing. Yeah. So it's streamlining it, but broadening it.
Yeah.
As well.
It is weird how that works.
Yeah. It does make sense.
It makes sense in my head.
Yeah.
But yeah,
we'll go with that.
Streamlining but broadening.
Absolutely. We
But
should
yeah.
make that our new strap.
That'll be my mug strap line. Yeah, still need to do that. But yeah, going from one person doing a lot of things, a lot of different things like posters, designing, email marketing, like social media, websites, all of that, to coming here and just focusing on a few different things, but doing them for a lot of different clients.
There are a lot of parallels because, games design isn't just about making games look nice. It's about making them user-friendly and intuitive, right?
Yeah.
Which is a lot of the principles within marketing. You can understand about stakeholder marketing and all of that jazz.
Yeah.
But actually, what it fundamentally comes down to is understanding how customers engage with content.
Well, yeah.
And that's surely a parallel there.
I know, and one of my modules was games theory, which was even going into like the economics of games and stuff like that, and making a certain path that the user follows through the game. So it wasn't just, I don't know what most people think of when they hear games design, but it wasn't just.
They probably just think of geeks wearing headphones playing Fortnite.
Probably.
That's not what I think.
No. But yeah, it's not just that. It's very, like you said. And I've never thought about it that way, but it is.
I think would appear that there are only two people in this business that had a linear approach to marketing, being Paul and Chris.
Yeah.
Everyone else is still trying to figure their way around.
I know. I think it's something about creatives, though.
Yeah.
I think we struggle to walk in a straight line when it comes to stuff like that.
We're kind of like golden retrievers.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah. Oh, look at that.
Yeah, I know.
And if I'm going to be likened to anything, it's going to be a golden retriever. I'm happy with that.
Yeah.